And on a picture-perfect Tuesday afternoon, we welcome you to Jack Kaiser Stadium here on the campus of St. John's University. It's a midweek tri-state battle as the Johnnies welcome the Fairfield Stags to Queens. I'm Andrew Bogish. Thanks so much for being with us. It is 75 degrees and sunny, a far cry from the tough winter we had almost until just last week here in the New York City area. St. John's feeling good after a weekend sweep over UAlbany. Fairfield is coming off a 1-2 weekend. They opened MAC play, dropping 2 of 3 against Siena over Friday and Saturday, but set to go on this gorgeous Tuesday afternoon here at the Jack. The Stags, the number 1 team in the preseason MAC poll after winning the conference tourney, getting back to the NCAA tournament a year ago, but it has been a struggle for both of these clubs. A lot of similarities between these two in their first month plus on the diamond here in what is still technically winter. The Stags arriving today 2-9 on the season, but they did win the last game to avoid being swept. That was Saturday up against those Siena Saints. And a lineup for the Stags that begins in just a second with TJ Smallsley, their center fielder. It'll face lefty Tommy Conley, the sophomore lefty. 0-2 on the year, an ERA at an even 27. This is his second start, his 4th appearance. It has been a battle. Last time out, last Wednesday at Penn State. A fairly dominant opening frame against the Nittany Lions, but then the wheels fell off in the second inning. Did not finish that frame, eventually charged with 4 runs on 3 hits and 4 walks against the Nittany Lions. So Conley hoping to bounce back here this afternoon, and both of these clubs looking for length out of their starters. Harrison Engel will be on the bump for Fairfield this afternoon. As far as the Stags lineup goes, mention Smallsley. He's their center fielder and their leading hitter at .292. He'll start things off. He is followed by the shortstop Luke Nomura, and then Matt Buschiero, their slugging first baseman this afternoon. He's hitting .267 on the year with a pair of homers and 7 RBIs. The cleanup hitter is their catcher, J.P. Kuzik. Connor Scanlon bats 5th and plays 3rd base. Jake Hardy is the right fielder. He'll bat 6th. In the 7th spot, a lefty hitting senior, Peyton Warwick. He's the designated hitter on this Tuesday afternoon. Don Camera is out in left field batting 8th, and batting 9th is the second baseman, Nolan Colby, for the Stags. The St. John's defense behind Conley has Will Cowan at first, Chaz Wright at second, Rob Mansour at short, and Jada Rafestanger at third. Bernardini, Rodriguez, and Fitzsimmons in the outfield from left to right. Agresti is the catcher. Conley set to go, and so are we. This is the 40th meeting between these two programs, and the first pitch of the afternoon is off the outside corner, ball 1. Stephen McMullen is calling balls and strikes today. Brian Drury's at first. Silvio Martinez Jr. is the umpire at third. Conley's 1-0 is also outside. Schmalzley at .292, a pair of homers and 9 RBIs as he digs in. His 12th appearance of the season. He's now started every single game for the Stags so far this year. He has scored 7 runs, has 4 doubles. Conley's 3-0 is inside, and this is not the start that St. John's wanted. Control has been an issue, and Conley's had to throw a strike. So now Nomura, a very talented shortstop. First team All-MAC a year ago. Second team All-Conference as a sophomore. Conley home, and that's in the dirt. So 5 pitches and 5 balls from Conley. Pretty healthy lead from Schmalzley, not going, and that's off the front hip of Nomura. It's a walk and a hit batter to start the afternoon for Conley. St. John's played that extra inning game on Friday to begin the weekend set with UAlbany. But they're pretty much reset in terms of who's available in the bullpen. Nobody's still recovering from their workload, and a number of guys eat a bunch of innings pitching well. to really prevent anybody from being overworked. But still, Conley, who has not been stretched out, partly because he's struggling so far this year, can't expect too long of an outing from him this afternoon. So we're expecting to see plenty out of the Red Storm bullpen. But immediate trouble for Conley. 2 on, nobody out, and he still hasn't thrown a strike. And now he's facing arguably the best hitter in this lineup in Matt Bouchiero, the preseason MAC Offensive Player of the Year. 267, a pair of homers and 7 RBIs for Bouchiero. And there's a strike for Conley. Bouchiero thought it was inside. Double-checked with Stephen McMullen. And now stands back in at a ball and a strike. Schmalzli from second. Nomura from first. And Conley misses again. Matt Bouchiero, a senior from Ridgefield, Connecticut, listed at 6'10", 225. A big, hulking young man. Ahead in the count, even further now. That one's down and in, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Bouchiero. Runners lead, and that's ball 4 down and in. Conley not even close, and the bases are loaded with 2 walks and a hit batter. And that'll get Adam Agresti to walk out and try and settle Conley down. J.P. Kuzik, their catcher, steps in his 10th appearance of the season. He's batting .231. 4 RBI, and he's set up for some here. Bases loaded and nobody out, and already a mound visit from Agresti to Conley. St. John's, of course, keeps the infield back here. They want outs. First pitch is a strike up in the zone. Kuzik a hit in each of their 3 games at Siena. It's a 5-game hit streak for the catcher. Little check swing bouncer towards first. Cowan fields it, flips it to Conley, and that'll score a run, but they get an out. Maybe Conley can settle in now, but still not out of danger. Second and third, and now 1 away. Infield will stay back as Connor Scanlon, sophomore third baseman, stands in for Fairfield. And a big swing and a miss at a first pitch fastball. Scanlon had 2 hits, scored 4 times over the weekend at Siena. That's in the dirt. Good block from Agresti, a ball and a strike. Conley home, and another swing and a miss from Scanlon. Just down and away. Scanlon thought about it. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Already 1-0 Fairfield without a hit. A walk, a hit batter, a walk, and a fielder's choice to get the run in. The 2-2. On the ground towards short. Mansour gets in behind it and gets it to Cowan for the second out, but Nomura scores to make it 2-0 Fairfield. Bouchiero's the lone base runner left out there for the Stags, as Jake Hardy, the right fielder, stands in. Hardy batting just .125 through 11 games. First ball swinging, topper foul towards third. Hardy has now started all dozen games for Fairfield. Taking in the dirt Smothering again, Agresti. Outfield straight away for Hardy. Conley quick home, and that's fouled back to the screen. And now Conley's a strike away from getting out of a jam with only limited damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. He's gotten back-to-back ground balls, trading outs for runs. And now he's trying to strand Bussiero at third. The pitch, at a play to the right. Off speed is flipped up, coming right back towards us. And maybe you heard the thud as it lands directly on top of us here in the Bob Shepard press box atop the jack. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Hardy. Still Bussiero at third. Conley's pitch is just off the outside corner. Conley's 2-2 is pulled just foul past third. Hardy making Conley work in this at-bat. 17 pitches so far in the frame for Conley. And he gets the swing and a miss to end the inning. He escapes major damage, but gives up a pair. 2 walks, a hit batter, no hits, and 1 man left. The bottom of the first, St. John's hits for the first time when we come back to the jack. Bottom of the first here at St. John's. The Red Storm coming up in a 2-0 hole. And they will face freshman righty Harrison Engel on the mound for Fairfield. Engel making his first career start after 6 appearances out of the bullpen. 0-2 with a save, an ERA at 7.56. Big, lanky righty in his first pitch is a strike to Luis Rodriguez, the center fielder. So he leads off for St. John's, then followed by Will Cowan, the first baseman, and Jader Reifstanger at third. The middle of the order is Adam Agresti, Dylan Fitzsimmons, and Sean McMillan. McMillan DHing once again today. Christian Bernardino, the left fielder, bats 7th. Chaz Wright, a rare start for him. He's batting 8th and playing 2nd. Then Rob Mansour, the shortstop, finish things off in the 9 spot. Engels 1-1 is down, and Rodriguez ahead here, 2 balls and a strike. This is a change from Mike Hampton. He had been leading off with Dylan Fitzsimmons for the last little bit. They're trying to kickstart an offense. It's Rodriguez first, Fitzsimmons in the middle, and Rodriguez ahead here, 3 balls and a strike. Rodriguez 1 for 3 on Sunday, and the finale with Albany takes inside. So now both pitchers start their afternoon with leadoff walks. Will Cowan walks to the plate. Didn't see Cowan at all this season until the Friday opener against the Great Danes, and now making his 4th consecutive start. This one's at first base. Cowan 2 for 13 over the weekend. One of those hits, though, a solo homer. Engel slide steps home and misses with a breaking pitch to fall behind Cowan. Rodriguez at first is 0 for 1, trying to steal this season. Engels 1-0 is a rocket up the middle. Nomura slides into the catch. The throw back to first is just a hair late. But that's a heck of a play by the shortstop Nomura to rob a hit from Cowan. So now it's Rafe Stanger, the left-hand hitting third baseman, coming off a 2 for 15 weekend. And he looks at that one off the outer edge to get ahead. 216, no homers, 3 RBI. This is game 15 for the Johnnies, and Rafe Stanger has started all of them. There goes Rodriguez, a breaking pitch. The throw down. Got him. Not the best pitch speed-wise to throw on, but Kuzik put it down there. Nomura drops the tag, and Rodriguez is off the bases. Engels 2-0 is just wide, 3-0. Engel on the board in the at-bat with that last pitch. You can hear him grunting from up here. Full effort on these throws from the freshman righty. That off speeds up and away, and it's the second walk of the inning. So a 2-out base runner for the Johnnies, and it brings up Adam Agresti, who's back behind the plate this afternoon. Agresti leads the team right now with 3 homers and 8 RBI and 21 total bases. A 2-run homer on Sunday. Crank that one to left. First ball swinging. It's up in the air behind home plate. Kuzik to the backstop is out of room. Agresti has seen some time at first base recently, which puts Sean Britt behind home plate. Sean McMillan DHing. McMillan's to the DH today. Agresti's catching. Cowan's at first base. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. Bending away from Agresti. And the breaking ball gets him looking. Engel walks 2 in the frame. A caught stealing bails him out. They leave one after one. Fairfield leads 2-0 in Queens. Top of the second here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. Andrew Bogusch with you for St. John's and Fairfield. An absolutely beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Temperature 75 degrees at first pitch. Tommy Connolly's first pitch of this frame just missed, bending onto the inside corner. The sophomore lefty put the first 3 stags on base in the first inning, 2 walks and a hit batter. But then 2 ground outs and a strikeout. That's line just over second. It's a base hit for Peyton Walruck, the designated hitter. First hit of the afternoon for either side, and once again the leadoff man on against Conley. He did limit the damage, bases loaded and nobody out. 2 fielders' choices got runs in, and then he struck out Hardy, the right fielder, to end the inning. So only 2, could have been more for Fairfield, but now here in the second, immediately back in some trouble with the leadoff man on. Dom Camera, the left fielder, stands in and swings through a first pitch strike. Camera only with 1 at-bat this year. This is his 6th appearance. Takes that one near his feet, ball 1. Did get a pinch hit appearance on Saturday, walked and scored a run as Conley checks on first. Camera's a grad student. Played his previous 2 years not too far from here out in Nassau County with Hofstra. Hit .269, drove in 11 in 32 games a year ago. That's chopped towards third. It'll be Reifstinger going to first. So Camera moves the runner into scoring position with 1 away. And that brings Nolan Colby to the plate. Colby just 1 for 32 so far this year. Lefty-lefty. And that's low to begin this at-bat. The sophomore from Long Island, North Belmore, New York. Not hitting yet this year, but has one of the most important swings in recent Stag memory a year ago. A ball and a strike to him now. Colby at the tie-breaking solo homer top 10 against Ryder in the MAC championship game last spring. That's down and in, and Conley falls behind again, 2-1. Warwick gets off a second. That fastball's outside, 3-1. Mansour, the shortstop, trying to play with Warwick, keep him honest. While Wright has to stay true to his position at second base on the pull side for the lefty Colby. Hitters count, swing and a miss. Looked like a slider, good pitch behind the count. So Conley gets it full. Looking for his second strikeout of the afternoon. It'd be big here. Top of the order looming. Can't get it though. He misses down and away. It's his third walk. 2 on and 1 out for TJ Schmalzli. Schmalzli, the center fielder, walked and scored in the first. No movement in the St. John's bullpen with Conley struggling here early. Already 2 in, 2 on, 1 out, and that's low. A look at second, and that's a strike. Up and on the outer half, a fastball. Infield, of course, set up for 2. Outfield straight away against the right-handed Schmalzli, who takes one in the dirt. And that got Schmalzli on the foot. Second hit batter on top of 3 walks for Conley, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Luke Nomura was Conley's first victim. Took a pitch off his left hip. And this will be the second trip to the mound to settle Conley. The first was just the catcher, Agresti. But now George Brown, the pitching coach, makes the slow walk to the bump. And as he does, all the St. John's relievers run from the third base dugout out to the bullpen. Fairfield has its reserve arms already out there in right field, but the Johnnies just sending their crew out there now, and there's a bit of a rush. It's been a struggle for Conley. Sophomore year, did not make an appearance as a freshman a year ago. He started the day with an ERA at an even 27, 11 earned runs allowed in 3 2/3. Only 5 hits, but 7 walks, and now 3 more today, plus 2 hit batters. Only 1 hit allowed. He pitched a week ago at Penn State. Didn't survive the second, charged with 4 runs. On February 20th at Arizona State, he got only 2 outs, gave up 4 runs. And against Ball State in his first appearance back on February 13th, gave up 3 in 1 1/3. First pitch is low to Nomura. He's made the best defensive play so far this afternoon. A lunging, sliding catch to his left on a bullet from Cowan. Could have been a single, could have been 2 on and nobody out. That gets away from Agresti. Here comes the runner, the flip, the tag, and he's out at home. The other runners advance, but that's a big out for St. John's. But now there's 2 outs. Now there's a path to survival, and that one's foul back. Agresti just dropped that one, but got quickly to it to his right. Great reaction as well from Conley coming home to help himself. That's down to first. Little sidewinder. Cowan handles it. And that'll end the inning. The bases were loaded with 1 out. Fairfield gets nothing. They leave 2. A hit in the inning. They still lead 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the second in Queens. Bottom of the second here at the Jack. Andrew Bogish with you at St. John's and Fairfield on this Tuesday afternoon. The Stags leading 2-0 as Dylan Fitzsimmons leads off the home half of the second. The freshman right fielder had been leading off out of the 5-hole this afternoon. This is where he began the year, moved into the leadoff spot in that Kentucky series, stayed there until today. Fitzsimmons leading the Johnnies in 4 different offensive categories as this Tuesday begins. And he gets ahead 3-0 here in the freshman righty Harrison Engel. 306 and 433 OBP. Those 2 of the 4 categories where Fitzsimmons is number 1 with St. John's. And that on-base percentage, part of the reason why he went to the leadoff spot and stayed there. He's been on base in 13 of 14 games. Freshman versus freshman. And that slapped towards short. Nomura handles. And Fitzsimmons is down to start the second. Harrison Engel issued 2 walks in the first inning. This is his first career start. But a caught stealing took some of the wind out of the Johnny's sail, plus that nice play by Nomura up the middle on the Cowan line drive. Now he faces Sean McMillan once again, the Storm's DH. First ball swinging, Nomura can't get that one, and Fitzsimmons has a 1-out single. Takes 1 pitch for Fitzsimmons, or McMillan, excuse me, to extend his hit streak to 7. And now Christian Bernardini stands in. He's the left fielder making his 4th start of the season. Drove in the first run on Sunday with an RBI single. Takes a high strike to begin this at-bat, and Engel wants a new baseball. Bernardini 3 for 14 in limited duty. Chops this one towards short, surrounded by Nomura. They're going to get 1 at second, but that's it. So Bernardini replaces McMillan at first. Now there are 2 outs. And Chaz Wright digs in. The sophomore from Pennsylvania, playing for the first time since the first at Kentucky, and he looks at a strike. 0 for 8 with 3 walks for Wright. This is his 5th appearance, his 3rd start. And that curveball is over to get him ahead 0-2. Engel really snapped that one off. Bernardini can run at first. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Engel and Fairfield done with the bottom of the second. No runs, a hit and 1 left. Through 2. It's 2-0 Fairfield. We're back here at St. John's, the Red Storm and the Stags on this Tuesday afternoon. 2-0 Fairfield as they come to bat in the top of the 3rd. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Fairfield, who has had the bases loaded in each of its first 2 at-bats. Bases loaded and nobody out in the first. They got only 2, I guess, on a couple of RBI groundouts. Tommy Conley home. And Matt Bucciero went too far on that breaking pitch down and away. Last inning, they were 1 out when they loaded the bases. On a pass ball, they tried to steal a run, but Agresti, the catcher, got to it, flipped it to Conley covering it home for that out. And then a ground out to first, ended the frame with nobody scoring. So St. John's playing from behind, but it certainly could be worse right now as Conley goes too far down and in to fall behind a Bucciero 2-1. There is activity in the St. John's bullpen. Conley was never long for this game. He's only pitched 3 1/3 so far this year. He's already over 40 pitches here in the top of the 3rd behind Bucciero. Little chopper. It's the pitcher. And the throw is in the runner. Conley made the throw in the runner. Cowan caught it, put the tag on, and then dropped the baseball. And now they officially call Bucciero safe. I'm not sure how the first base umpire there, Brian Drury, didn't notice the ball fall out of Cowan's glove. And even when it was laying on the turf, he could still see it and didn't change his call. But Stephen McMullen coming up the line from home plate. Quick conversation. They get it right, and Bucciero's aboard. That's to short. That should be 2. Mansour, right, and stands in. Base is clear. 2 outs and a strike on the outer half. Conley just missed the outside corner. He wanted that one. Gave a little shrug towards the home plate umpire. A 1-1 to short. Mansour stays back. Makes a good throw, and Conley has his quickest, easiest inning of the afternoon. The double play helps him out big time. We head to the bottom of the third at St. John's. The Storm still trailing 2-0. It is Fairfield going to its bullpen for the first time this afternoon. Matt Kalfas replaces Harrison Engel, so the freshman righty goes 2 innings. No runs, 1 hit. Fairfield head coach Bill Currier told me pregame that Engel, who'd been working out of the bullpen mostly in the middle and late innings, was only good for about 45 or 60 pitches today. Doesn't even go that far, but finishes strong on a strikeout. Maybe that's why you take the youngster out. Don't let him go through the St. John's lineup for a second time. So it's Kalfas, a lefty, a junior from Merrick, New York, Calhoun High School. This is his first appearance of the year. That's high ball 1. 4 career appearances over his first 2 years at Fairfield. Just 5 innings pitched. Say Fairfield staff that has 7 or 8 pitchers on the shelf right now. They're starting to get healthy, but some of those guys are still a ways away. So it's true on both sides. At a lot of places this time of year, coaches just trying to piece things together. This is always going to be a multi-pitcher afternoon. There's a strike. Rob Mansour, the shortstop, the number 9 hitter leading off for St. John's, thought he had a walk to start the bottom of the third. Kalfas deals, and that bends in for strike 2. Mansour didn't like that call either. He had a nice weekend, 4 hits, 4 RBI. His most productive weekend of the season. That's lined into left, and it's down for a hit. off the chest of camera, and Mansour's going to take advantage, digging for two, and he's in there safely. He thought he walked a minute ago, took two pitches that he thought were not strikes. He ends up, like in the exchange, he ends up on second base with the leadoff double. Looked like camera got caught there in between, thought about making the charge for that catch, had to stop, and then was stuck in no man's land on that bounce off his chest, and it just kicked far enough away for Mansour to make it to second. And that's to the backstop. No throw from Kuzik. Best threat of the afternoon for St. John's, a runner 90 feet away with nobody out in the top of the order, and Luis Rodriguez. He walked leading off the bottom of the first, but was eventually thrown out trying to steal second. That's wide, ball two. With nobody out, leading 2-0, Fairfield keeps the infield back. They'll trade an out for a run here. That's outside. Almost a second in this at-bat to the backstop for Kalfas. On 3-0, a token show of a bunt, and Rodriguez takes a strike. The 3-1 at the top of the zone. The count's full. The official scoring, by the way, on the ball that Mansour hit, they give him a single and then an error to the camera in left field. They did not charge St. John's an error in the top half of this inning. That's punched towards second. That'll get a run in. The play is to first. RBI for Rodriguez, and St. John's is now down 2-1. So one out now for Will Cowan, who had a bullet up the middle his first time up. Was almost a single, was almost first and second and nobody out, but Luke Nomura made a nice play going to his left to take a hit away from Cowan. And again, Kalfas missing up and away. Will Cowan didn't travel on the first three road trips of the season for St. John's, to Florida, to Arizona State, to Kentucky. Made his season debut on Friday. He's been in the starting lineup every day since now. 4 times in 5 days. He's the first baseman this afternoon. That's in the air, right side. Should be out of play. Bushiero is over, but it is. One thud off the grandstand and then into the grass. Cowan, impressive freshman campaign a year ago at .293, slugged .443, 4 homers, 30 RBI, 30 runs scored, stole a couple of bases. He looks at strike 2 here, and the count levels, 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the third here at the Jack. A run in for St. John's to cut the Fairfield lead to 2-1. Matt Kalfas just into the game in this inning. Gets Cowan to pop one up. He wanted to throw his bat in disgust. Nomura in shallow left, shielding his eyes from the sun, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Jader Rafestanger, the third baseman, walked his first time up. He's back up here with 2 outs and the base is empty. Lefty, and the first pitch is up. There are a lot of young men moving around in the Fairfield bullpen right now. A couple for St. John's. Stags already into their bullpen as Rafe Stinger sends around a play to our left. That's in the dirt, and Rafe Stinger gets ahead. 2 balls and a strike. That's sent the other way towards the left field corner, slicing away from camera, and it's over the fence on a bounce. And that's a ground ruled 2-out double for Jader Rafe Stinger, just his second extra base hit of the season. It's a young man that was first team All Big East a year ago. He's hit .357, slugged .493. But came into today hitting just .216 without a homer and 1 double back on February 22nd against Arizona State. First pitch swinging is Agresti, and he rips 1 foul. But here's Rafe Stinger, 2 outs, base is empty, going with a pitch away, driving into the corner. And he gets the cleanup man up in an RBI spot. A chance to tie the game for St. John's. A long look at second. And then a fastball up and away. A ball and a strike on Agresti. Went down looking to end the first, his first time up. A 2-run homer to left in their last game here on Sunday against UAlbany. That's in the dirt. Kuzik knocked it down, and I think might box that one through his legs on his own, but no advance from Rafe Stinger. Three balls and a strike. Trouble here for Kalfas. Making his season debut. The tying runs in scoring position. Behind 3-1 on St. John's best power threat, who hits one in the air to left field. It's deep. It's carrying. It's gone. Agresti again. Back-to-back games with 2-run homers to left field for Adam Agresti. And just like that, St. John's takes the lead.
Now batting for St. John's is number 15, Dylan Fitzsimmons.
It's Agresti's 4th homer. He's up to 10 RBIs on the year. And it brings up Dylan Fitzsimmons, who grounded out to shortstop his first time up. He's first ball swinging on a line to center field, and that's a base hit. The struggles continue for Kalfas. And now he's got to deal with Sean McMillan.
Now batting for St. John's, number 27, Sean McMillan.
The Johnny's DH singled his first time up. It's a 7-game hit streak now for him. And pitching coach Chris Tilton is going to visit Kalfas on the mound. Fairfield started freshman righty Harrison Engel. He got through 2 innings rather unscathed. Gave up a hit, 2 walks, but a couple of strikeouts. No runs. Had only thrown 25 pitches. Bill Courier said pregame maybe 45 to 60. But they take Engel out. They go to Kalfas. And a 2-0 lead has become a 3-2 hole. Mansour began the inning with a single, went to second on an error by the left fielder. Advanced to third on a wild pitch. Scored on a ground ball to second by Rodriguez. Cowan then popped out, and Kalfas was almost done with the frame. But Rafe Stanger doubled into the left field corner, and then Agresti homered over that same fence. And now the single by Fitzsimmons brings up the slugging McMillan. Fitzsimmons, by the way, now on base in 14 of 15 games in his freshman season. And he's a threat to run down there. He's 3 for 3 stealing, but it is a lefty on the mound. That's down and away. Kalfas looking rusty in his season debut. Again, this is a Fairfield staff missing a bunch of arms. Guys trying to get healthy. That's the line right back to the screen. McMillan didn't miss that one by much. Kalfas made 3 appearances, totaling 4 innings a year ago. The runs he's allowed in this inning and the homer given up to Agresti, the first of his career. McMillan stings one. Right center field. That ball is deep. It's up against the wall. Fitzsimmons chugging around third. No throw home. 4-2 St. John's.
Now batting for St. John's, number 4, Christian Bernardini.
4 straight hits for St. John's. Rafe Stanger's double, Agresti's 2-run homer, the Fitzsimmons single, McMillan's double. It's plated 3, still a runner at second with 2 outs, and Kalfas will not finish the frame. Bill Courier walks out and is going back to his bullpen. A big bottom of the third here in Queens. St. John's all of a sudden leads Fairfield 4-2. A 4-run bottom of the third here for St. John's. Still not done. Fairfield going back into its bullpen. Will Youngman, another lefty, is on in relief of Matt Kalfas, who got just 2 outs for the moment, charged with 4 runs, all earned on 5 hits. And a swing and a miss. Christian Bernardini, the left fielder. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. He's got McMillan at second with 2 outs. And that's a strike. Up and away. Bernardini disagrees, but has to get right back in the box. Youngman home, and a breaking ball is sent out of play off to the right. Youngman pitched on Saturday morning. Fairfield was scheduled to play 2 Friday at Siena, but the first game went to extra innings. They were playing at a field without lights, so they couldn't finish the second game. Held it overnight. After 8, that's lined the other way. Caught by the right fielder, and the inning is over. But a nice inning for St. John's. They get 4 on 5 hits, including the 2-run homer by Agresti to take the lead. It's 4-2 after 3 at the Jack. Top of the 4th now in Queens. St. John's has jumped on top of Fairfield 4-2. 6, 7, and 8 coming up here in the top of the 4th for Fairfield, beginning with their right fielder Jake Hardy, who caught that line drive to end the last half inning when St. John's got all 4 of its runs. Hardy shows bunt and takes down and away. He struck out to end the first, leaving a runner at third. Tommy Conley loaded the bases before getting his first out. And that is fouled off of Hardy. A ball and a strike. Conley recovered enough in that first inning, got back-to-back ground outs. Runs came in, but he got outs, and he struck out Hardy. So just 2 from a bases-loaded no-out jam. Survived bases loaded and 1 out in the second. A called strike on the outer edge gets him ahead here. In the top of the 3rd, gave up a leadoff infield single, but a double play and a strikeout put him back in the dugout in a hurry. And then his offense came to life, and now he's got the lead, and he's got a backwards K. It's the inside corner. And for the first time this afternoon, he's retired the leadoff man. This is already the longest outing of the season for Conley. That first inning in particular, with the control problems, 2 walks and a hit batter, that had been his issue in his previous outings, but he has settled in now over the last inning plus. Peyton Warwick, the designated hitter, is up now for Fairfield. He singled, eventually got to third. The 2-1 is a slaughter outside. Warwick tried to score on a ball that kicked off the catcher Agresti to his right, but Agresti got it. Conley covered. The flip was good, and the tag was in time. Chopper to short. Mansour charges and throws. And Conley's 2 for 2 here in the top of the 4th.
Now batting for the Stags, number 29, Don Camara.
First pitch to Dom Camara is a fastball down and in for strike 1. The left fielder bounced into a 5-3 fielder's choice his first time up. That's punched over first, and it's down for a hit along the line. Fitzsimmons gets to it quickly, so Camara's a 2-out base runner, and still no 1-2-3 inning for Conley. He did face the minimum in the 3rd, thanks to the 6-4-3 twin killing. And now Nolan Colby comes up for the 2nd time. Colby walked his first time up. 1 for 32 still on the season. Squares around and takes. Ball and a strike now to Colby. There's a big batter for Conley, protecting the lead now. The timer at the plate, the go-ahead run, is the leadoff man, Schmalzli, in the on-deck circle. There is somebody ready in the St. John's bullpen. This might be Conley's last batter either way. That one bent low. And Conley in a 3-1 hole. Can now walk the 9-hitter, a guy who was 1 for 32 on the season. No matter what the score is, but in particular in this spot. And he missed with a fastball. So now the tying runs are on base. Top of the order coming for Fairfield. And they're going to pay a visit with George Brown, the pitching coach. As you can see now, somebody's throwing out there, but St. John's is not going to its bullpen. They're going to stick with Conley, let him face the top of the lineup for the 3rd time, now with the tying runs on base. Couldn't sit down Colby, the 9-hitter. Now it's Schmalzli. Walked and scored in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 2nd. And he takes strike 1. This is Fairfield's leader in average and slugging percentage, plus RBI, runs scored, and doubles. It's a struggling lineup, but not Schmalzli. And he fouls one off at the plate, and Conley once again is a strike away from escaping. Runners from first and second with 2 outs. The 0-2 to Schmalzli is down and in. Good job by Agresti. Camera's the runner at second. Colby, who just walked for the second time, is at first. With 2 outs, neither runner being held on as Schmalzli stays alive. Every time a ball gets out of this stadium, you wait to hear the thump or the crash. There are cars parked all along the perimeter of this stadium, and you're in danger. A 1-2. Down and in again. Did that hit him? Schmalzli says it did. There's been no call from Stephen McMullen. There are runners off the base. The throw to first. Just getting back in is Colby. Schmalzli is still saying that got me on the foot. That's a bad job by Colby. He was halfway to second base, trusting his teammate. Almost got picked off. Bill Courier is walking down the third baseline. Now, we only have one camera at our disposal today, so there are no coaches' challenges in this game. So it would only be up to the umpires to discuss this amongst themselves. That's what they're going to do here. Steve McMullen pulling in Brian Drury and Silvio Martinez Jr. McMullen, the home plate umpire, never flinched on a pitch down and in, but Schmalzli immediately went towards first base. I did hear something, but couldn't tell if that was the ground or his foot. And after the consultation, they're just going to call this ball 3. Mike Hampton came out of the St. John's dugout just to make sure the count was right. It's ball 3. That's it. No, excuse me. It's 2-2. McMullen just corrected himself. The pitch. A slider got him looking. And Schmalzli has a word or two and a shrug to the home plate umpire. Maybe he missed it. And now Bill Courier has given McMullen an earful. Bill Courier was just given an official warning. He's now talking to the other umpires. Things about to quiet down. Fairfield, a little frustrated. A 2-0 lead is now a 4-2 hole here at St. John's. We're close enough, and it's quiet enough here at Jack Kaiser Stadium between innings. Try to eavesdrop on Bill Courier, who kept the conversation going, less loud from the Fairfield dugout. He certainly thought that Schmalzli got hit by a pitch. There was a second called strike that they didn't like either. And the first pitch from Will Youngman is down and in. This is Chaz Wright, the second baseman, batting 8th. The only Johnny that did not hit when they scored 4 in the third. That's outside from Youngman. 2 balls and no strikes. Courier did get an official warning from the home plate umpire. flirted with being the second consecutive visiting manager to get thrown out. John Mueller made an early exit from the series finale on Sunday against UAlbany. He was upset in that game about multiple things, one of which was a play at home plate that was initially ruled an out for his team, but was switched on a challenge with the pitcher who was covering, who was called for blocking home plate. Mueller got run, and the added indignity, he had to pack up his backpack, and the only way to leave the field, well, there's a couple, but the easiest way was to walk across the field from the first base dugout behind home plate, right past the umpire that threw you out, and then to the exit to the concourse to get out of the field. Bill Courier stopped just in time to avoid that for now. Meanwhile, it's a 3-2 count on right. And he fouls one back off of Kuzik, the catcher. This is a good at-bat from Wright, who has not had many so far this year. The sophomore from PA, just his third start, was 0 for 8 coming into the day. And now 0 for 9 after striking out his first time up. Puts this one in play, weak to the right side. Bushiero does it himself. Willie Youngman got the final out of the third inning. All 4 runs on 5 hits, no walks or Ks. Charged to Matt Kalfas in just 2/3 of an inning in his season debut. Started to tell you that the middle game for Fairfield and Siena was held overnight from Friday to Saturday. Youngman was the pitcher Saturday morning when it resumed and was eventually charged as Mansour dumps one into right field for a 1-out single. Charged with 4 runs, a solo homer in the 8th, and then the 3 deciding runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Now batting for St. John's, number 6, Luis Rodriguez.
So he is trying to bounce back from that rocky outing. He did leave a runner at second base last inning. Mansour's 2 for 2, by the way. Singled and scored last inning. He let off the frame, hit that bullet to left field that bounced away from camera for an error, allowing Mansour to take second. Youngman did not actually give up the game deciding, or didn't throw the game deciding pitch, I should say, Saturday morning against Siena. He put men on base, loaded the bases with nobody out in a tie game. Well, I should say protecting a 2-run lead. The defense got 2 outs at home plate, keeping the game tied. But then a bases loaded walk ended things. So it was a tying home run off of Youngman in the 8th, and then in the 9th, loaded the bases with nobody out. 2 outs at home, and then the bases loaded walk to end it. As Rodriguez takes a strike. Top of the order here for St. John's in the center fielder Rodriguez. Walked and caught stealing in the first. An RBI ground out to second in the third. It takes strike 2 on the outer half. Rodriguez, the latest hitter to double-check a call with McMullen, the home plate umpire. Runner at first and 1 out. St. John's leading 4-2 here, bottom 4. And a swing and a miss gets Rodriguez. First strikeout for Youngman. Second out of the inning, and now it's Cowan who has lined and popped out to short. Mansour at first has not attempted a stolen base this year. Cowan first ball swinging at a play to the right. Tough to run off any lefty, but in general, not a bad spot to put Mansour in motion here. If he makes it, RBI chance for Cowan. If he doesn't, the inning restarts with Cowan leading off the bottom of the fifth. And a ground ball to short. This should end the inning. Nomura will go the long way to first. And it does end the frame. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Now 4 done at St. John's, and the Storm with a 4-2 lead on Fairfield. Welcome back to Jack Kaiser Stadium. Andrew Bogish with you. St. John's and Fairfield on an absolutely perfect Tuesday afternoon here on the St. John's campus. Fairfield scored 2 in the top of the first. Johnny's got 4 in the bottom of the third. That's all the scoring so far this afternoon. And as this 5th inning begins, it's a new pitcher for St. John's. This is Connor Burns taking over for Tommy Conley, who ends up going a season-high 4 innings. 2 runs, both earned on 3 hits, 4 walks, and 3 Ks for Conley, who walked 2 and hit a batter before getting his first out this afternoon. Got the next 3 batters in that first inning, gave up 2 runs, but avoided the significant damage. Survived trouble in the second, and then kind of cruised through the third and the fourth. They kept him in the game in the last half inning with the tying runs on base and the leadoff man up, and he got a called third strike on TJ Smallsley. And now he turns it over to Burns. A righty deals and starts off his afternoon with a strike to Luke Nomura, the shortstop, number 2 in this Fairfield lineup. Nomura hit by a pitch, scored their second run, grounded out to first, leaving on a pair his second time up. Now he's in an 0-2 hole. For Burns, a senior from Plainview, New York, making his 4th appearance of the season. No decisions yet. Does have a save, a 7.71 ERA over 4 2/3. Pitched last week at Penn State. Got 3 outs. Gave up 3 runs on 2 hits with 2 walks. On multiple fronts, though, St. John's could not have asked for more from Conley. Gave him length, more than doubling his longest outing of the season. Gave them quality as well after a very, very dicey start. Control had been his problem all year long, and again, a walk and a hit batter before his first strike. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 groundouts and a strikeout got him out of the first. A caught stealing at home on a potential pass ball with him involved helped him get through the second, faced the minimum third thanks to a ground ball double play, and then in and out of trouble in the fourth. And now it's up to the St. John's bullpen, which has been a strength so far here in 2026. Full windup for Burns, and he jams Namur. It's in the air. Behind second, it's Rodriguez coming in and taking charge to make the catch. The center fielder had both middle infielders joining him out there in shallow center, but he puts it away to start the frame. Matthew Bushiero, the batter now for Fairfield. Been somewhat of a slow start for the MAC preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Just 267 coming into today, a pair of homers, 7 RBI. His last home run, February 21st. That 1-1 didn't miss by much. Bushiero ahead, 2 balls and a strike. He's the twin brother of a young man I saw play a bunch. I'm a Fordham alum. Dan Bushiero was the Rams' third baseman the last couple of years, now in the A's system. And talking to Bill Courier on the field before the game, they think that Matt, the twin, is draft worthy. They're a little surprised that he wasn't drafted already. But Matthew and Dan are basically as identical as you can be. That's ball 3. Kevin Layton, the Fordham coach, Bill Courier, apparently joked that only the uniform lets them tell which one is Dan, which one is Matt. Bill Courier recruited Dan as well. Tapper foul. Matt's head coach saying the only difference, he can see a difference in their swings. I don't know if you or I could see that, but he can see a difference in the way they bring the bat through the zone. Obviously, the Stags prefer their Bushiero twin. Another 3-2 is right back over our head. And there's the thump of baseball on car. That sounded more like side panel than windshield. The 3-2 again is off the outside corner. Burns thought he got it. Threw a similar pitch 2 or 3 pitches ago. Didn't get that call. Didn't get that one either. And now Bushiero walks with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Second time, actually third time on. Bushiero's now 2 walks and a single. J.P. Kuzik, the catcher now. An RBI ground out, 3-2 from him in the first. In the third, he helped the Tommy Conley cause with a 6-4-3 double play. It was tailor-made right to Mansour at short. The Storm would certainly love something like that again here. They lead 4-2, top 5. Trying to win their 4th in a row after sweeping UAlbany over the weekend on this field. A check of Bushiero. On top of the homers, on top of the good defense at both first base today and in the outfield as well. Bushiero's 4 for 4 swiping bags this season. Another throw over to low throw. It's off of Cowan and out of play. So Bushiero gifted second base, and now an RBI opportunity for Kuzik. Each team has now committed an error. That pitch down and away. Good job Agresti has saved his pitchers a couple of wild ones so far this afternoon, and then when he made the miscue, a pass ball, quick reflexes to pounce on it and flip it to Conley covering to cut down a runner at the plate back in the second. 2-0 is in the air to left. Not deep at all. Bushiero goes back to second as Bernardini makes the catch. Kuzik is 0 for 3, 2 outs for Fairfield. And it falls to Connor Scanlon, the third baseman, to try and get the run in. Scanlon, just a sophomore, hitting .239. Has a couple of RBIs on the year. 0 for 2 today, and a swinging strike to begin this at-bat. Scanlon only played 15 games, got 12 at-bats as a freshman. That's fouled back in the glove of Agresti, and it's 0-2. And Connor Burns almost out of trouble here in the fifth. Trying to work around the single, and then his throwing error on a pickoff that has Bushiero at second base. The 0-2. Off the plate. That one got away for a second, but not far enough. Bushiero thought about it for a second at second base, but you can never make the last out of third base, and you don't want to take the RBI opportunity away here from Scanlon. Burns just missed with a slider. Scanlon scored 4 times in the Siena series. Would love to bring one in here. That's further away. Another slider, 2-2. The payoff pitch from Burns. Did he go around? He did on an appeal to first base. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. Halfway home at the Jack, and St. John's leads Fairfield 4-2. Bottom of the fifth here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. St. John's leads Fairfield 4-2. Andrew Bogish with you. Thanks so much for being with us here. This midweek clash between New York and Connecticut. The Stags back into their bullpen. Jimmy Mulvaney is in. And the first batter he faces is Jader Rafestanger, who fouls one back. Mulvaney making his second appearance of the season. He pitched Saturday in that suspended game that was held overnight from Friday to Saturday morning against Siena. His first appearance, that was, since Tommy John surgery. Today's number 2 on his 21st birthday, and he snaps that one off to get ahead 0-2. We ran you through the ending of that game earlier today. The suspended game. It was Mulvaney who got the 2 outs at home, but then walked in the deciding run. That slapped the other way. It's going to hang up. Yes, it will, for camera in left field. So Rafestanger is down to start the bottom of the fifth. Adam Agresti has the biggest swing this afternoon, a go-ahead 2-run homer in St. John's 4-run third inning. Harrison Engel, freshman righty, got through the first 2 unscathed for the Stags. They went in their bullpen. They brought in Matt Kalfas, and Kalfas didn't survive the third. Gave up all 4 on 5 hits. Little squibber to second. Only the glove from Colby to get Agresti. We saw Nomura early dive to his left on a Cowan line drive to make a nice play, and now Colby, that ball had some wicked side spin to it, charged it, gloved it, the glove flip, and 2 quick outs now for Mulvaney. Dylan Fitzsimmons singled and scored in that 4-run third. The freshman right fielder waits and takes at the letters for strike 1. Mulvaney, a junior from New Jersey, throws the 0-1. And Fitzsimmons puts one off the front of his dugout. That frisbee slider, boring it on the hands there. And quickly it's 0-2 with 2 outs and the base is empty here, bottom 5. The 0-2 to Fitzsimmons is on the ground, up the middle. Nomura waits. And that's the first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon by a Fairfield pitcher. Mulvaney gets it. It sends us to the 6th. Still 4-2 St. John's. Top of the sixth here at the Jack. Connor Burns, second inning of relief for St. John's, protecting a 4-2 lead and missing inside to begin the frame. Jake Hardy puts one in the air. That's coming down quickly to the first base dugout, and it drops in safely. Cowan had the only chance at it, not Agresti. Did not take the most direct path to it, and it was not up a lot anyway. So the at-bat continues for Hardy, who has struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. Six, 7, and 8 for Fairfield here, top six. Fairfield came into today 2-9. They dropped 2 of 3 at Siena over the weekend, open up the MAC portion of their schedule. They were the MAC tournament champs a year ago. That's a single. Hardy goes right back through the box. Leadoff man is on. They lost 2 of 3 in the final weekend of the regular season last year to miss out on the top spot in the conference tourney. That went to Ryder, who beat them that last weekend. But they got the ultimate revenge, making their third NCAA tournament appearance, the second through a MAC tournament championship. 2016 and 2025. In 2021, this program became the first MAC program to get an at-large bid. That is one of the many things on Bill Courier's resume. Saturday's win at Siena, number 892. This is his 37th season in a college dugout. Exactly 400 of those wins with the Stags, and these are the last games for Bill Courier. He announced in the fall that this would be his last season. He and his wife recently bought a house in Florida. They're going to split the year between there and Vermont. Once he steps aside, he was the Vermont head coach, and a good one there. 3 America East Coach of the Year awards. But then Vermont, the Catamounts, stopped playing baseball a couple of years in between that and taking over Fairfield. And since then, 3 more Coach of the Year awards, 3 NCAAs, as we just went through, and then even 400 wins. His team started well today towards number 401, leading 2-0 in the top of the first. They haven't scored since, and now they trail 4-2, but a leadoff man is on. Burns is worried, and for the second time, he throws one away. This one stays in play, and chugging towards third, a throw from Fitzsimmons is just late. Hardy going first to third on the throwing error by the pitcher, but Fitzsimmons almost gunned him down. Impossible to nitpick, but if that throw was shin high, not letter high, maybe Rafestinger gets the tag down quicker. Just in time is Hardy, and now he's 90 feet away with nobody out. And that's fisted back to the screen by the DH, Warwick. Burns spiked a pickoff attempt in the last inning and went out of play, though, so only 1 base for Bushiero there. This one stays in play, goes down the right field line. That missed away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. St. John's is back up the middle. Rafestinger at third and Cowan at first, even with the base. Swing and a miss. A fastball up and away, puts down Warwick. Don Cameron, the left fielder, walks to the plate now. He's 1 for 3. A fielder's choice and a single. A guy still looking for his first RBI of the year. Only 3 at-bats, counting the 2 today. So they bring the infield in. That pitch stayed tight, ball 1. This is the 8th spot in the Fairfield order. Burns comes home. Same pitch. This time it's a strike on the inner half. St. John's protecting a 4-2 lead here in the top of the 6th. That fastball's tight. So Burns falls behind again, now 2-1. Jake Hardy walks down the line at third. Burns barely giving him a look. That's right back to the screen. That was a pitch to hit. Camera's mad he missed it. Now it's 2-2. Way high, full count. Nolan Colby, the number 9 hitter, who has just 1 hit this season, is on deck for Fairfield. Payoff pitch is in the air, center field, deep enough to get a run in. Rodriguez just makes that catch, reaching up, fighting the sun. It's a sacrifice fly for Camera as Hardy scores, aided by the throwing error from Burns. First RBI of the year for Don Camera. First run since the first inning for Fairfield. Now down 4-3, 2 outs, base is empty. And the number 9 hitter, Colby, takes outside. He has walked his first 2 times up, was left aboard both times. That's just away, a fastball, 2-1. Connor Burns on relief at Tommy Conley, who survived some early trouble, gave up just 2 runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, over 4. And now Burns is a strike away from ending the inning. It was his errant pickoff throw that got Hardy from first to third, allowing him to score on that sac fly. That breaking pitch, a call, 3rd strike. The inning is over. Burns gives up 1 on a hit. That error, nobody left, so it's 4-3 St. John's as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the sixth here at the Jack. St. John's now leading 4-3. Coming up against Jimmy Mulvaney. Second inning of relief for him. A 1-2-3 fifth, the only 1-2-3 inning for any pitcher so far this afternoon. Second appearance of the season for Mulvaney, coming off Tommy John surgery. McMillan first in the home half of the sixth. And there's that frisbee slider missing inside. McMillan singled his first time up and then crushed one in a right center field for an RBI double his second. That capped off the 4-run third, which remains the difference in this game. McMillan extending his hit streak to 7 today. 10 hits now in the 7 games. That's flipped up and foul. Back out of play. Mulvaney is the fourth pitcher the Stags have used this afternoon. Harrison Engel went the first 2. No runs, a hit, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. Matt Kalfis came in, gave up all 4 in the third. Will Youngman got the next 4 outs. Mulvaney worked the 5th and now starts the 6th. A 1-2. 2-hopper down a third. First chance today for Scanlon. A good throw to Bucciero gets McMillan to start the inning. So 4 up and 4 down for Mulvaney on his 21st birthday. Bernardini, the left fielder now. He's 0 for 2, reaching the fielder's choice back in the second. Lined out to right to end that big third inning. And once again, spinning back is Bernardini. McMullen, the home plate umpire, checked it first if Bernardini did not pull back in time, but he certainly did. So it's 2 balls and no strikes on the St. John's left fielder. Hot shot through the left side for a base hit. Nicely done by Bernardini. Kept the hands in, turned on that one, and ripped it past Scanlon to be a 1-out base runner. First hit, first base runner against Mulvaney. And now he faces Chaz Wright, the second baseman. The 8th spot in the order, and maybe he's not going to face him because Bill Courier is walking out and pointing to his bullpen. So Mulvaney's going to get 4 outs, but he's responsible for the base runner. He'll hear it from his dugout and the Fairfield fans here. Their most effective pitcher so far this afternoon, and for him personally, in his second appearance since Tommy John surgery, could not have gone much better. And it's his birthday, but his team is still trailing at the moment 4-3, bottom 6 in Queens. Alex Frank is the new pitcher for Fairfield, their 5th of the afternoon. He inherits a runner at first base with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th, and his team trailing 4-3. Frank making his 6th appearance of the season. He's been good for Fairfield, a junior from Marlboro, New Jersey. A 1.59 ERA, just 1 earned run in those 5 2/3. 6 Ks, 5 walks, 6 hits allowed. Pitched on Friday in the second game, the one that couldn't finish before darkness. He pitched on Friday, and 3 scoreless. First batter he faces is Chaz Wright, the second baseman, the 8-hitter. Mansour in the on-deck circle for St. John's, trying to rebuild the lead. That was 2, now it's 1. And Frank begins his outing with a strike. Runner is going, swing and a miss. The throw down a second is in time. Second runner thrown out by Kuzik today. And he had Wright lunging for that ball to get in his way as much as possible. Still made a good throw, good tag, and now the bases are clear. And now it's a ball and 2 strikes on Wright. And that caught stealing closes the book on Mulvaney. I shouldn't say just, an inning and a third, now no runs officially, and 1 hit allowed. That's hit sharply up the middle, diving, unable to get it is Colby. And Chaz Wright has his first hit of the season. At the very least, Wright clears the number 9 spot in Mansour, so worst case, it's the top of the order in the 7th for St. John's. Breaking pitch to start is a strike from Frank. Chop towards third. That's a fair ball, and it gets by Scanlon down the line. Wright's on his way to third. He's going to be stopped there. Scooting into second is Mansour. And St. John's in business here. 2-out rally, second and third. Maybe Scanlon should have charged that ball, left himself with a short hop, a real tough play, and he couldn't make it. Mansour is on base for the 3rd time today. And it's Rodriguez, top of the order. 0 for 2 with a walk. With 2 in scoring position and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. A ball and a strike as Frank buries one in the strike zone. That's being called an error on Scanlon at third base as Frank misses badly down and away to fall behind. Two errors apiece. This one could loom large. The 2-1 is strike 2. Frank hits his spot. Outer edge, upper half. Tap towards short. Nomura shorthanded, and the inning is over. Fairfield gets in and out of trouble. They strand 2. They stay down 1, 4-3 through 6 here at St. John's.
Now batting for Fairfield is number 22, TJ Schmalz.
Top of the 7th here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. Andrew Bogish with you. And St. John's still in front, 4-3 on Fairfield. Top of the order, though, in TJ Schmalzley against Connor Burns. A third inning of work for him out of the bullpen. Schmalzley had one of the more important at-bats so far this afternoon. Back in the 4th inning, he was up with 2 men on base. His team had just given up 4, trying to get right back even with St. John's. He set a pitch down and in, had hit him on the foot. He was already going to first base. The runner at first base, trusting his teammate, Nolan Colby, started going towards second base. St. John's almost picked him off because it was not called a hit batter by Steve McMullen at home plate. He talked to his 2 crew members. They kept it at just the ball, much to Schmalzley's dismay and Bill Courier, and then eventually Schmalzley struck out looking. Schmalzley behind here, a ball and 2 strikes. Walked, hit by a pitch before that strikeout. And that's fisted back to the screen. His first 3 at-bats came in the first 4 innings. Now number 4 comes here, top 7. Trying to set the table for Nomura and Bushiero. He lays off, and he did not go as they checked down at first with Brian Drury. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now to the senior center fielder from Pennsylvania. 292 average, tops on the team. Hits that one hard towards the corner and left. Off the wall on a bounce. Schmalzley going hard to second. Bernardini's throw is late. It's a leadoff double for TJ Schmalzley. One of the better struck balls this afternoon by a Stag, and it puts them right in business. The tying run in scoring position, nobody out. And here comes Luke Nomura. Nomura's 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the first. He leads the team with 3 homers. He's got 8 RBIs. Second on the club. First pitch to him is a strike. A fastball belt high away. Outfield straight away for Nomura. It's Mansour trying to keep Schmalzli close at second base. The big bat of Bushiero in the on-deck circle for Fairfield. That's right back over our head out of play. Nomura in an 0-2 hole. This will be the 50th pitch of the outing for Connor Burns. His third inning of work, and that's through Agresti to the backstop. And Schmalzli's now at third with nobody out. Agresti has dug a couple out this afternoon to save his pitchers, but that time he couldn't stop that one. It's a wild pitch. Burns has also made 2 throwing errors on pickoff attempts in this outing. The second of which helped Fairfield get a run their last time up. Bounces another. This one Agresti can knock down with his chest. Nomura's worked the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield comes in with no outs, and that tying run 90 feet away. And now it's ball 3. The 3-2 is hit in the air to center field. Well struck. Rodriguez turns, chasing, and he can't make the catch. It's off the tip of his glove, scoring easily as Schmalzli, and standing at second with the tying RBI is Luke Nomura. Nine RBIs now for Nomura. He joins Schmalzli on that number for the team lead. Schmalzli scores for the second time today. Now 9 on the season. And they're going to intentionally walk Bushiero. First base is open. Nobody's out in the inning. And an interesting gamble here from the St. John's coaching staff. Bushiero, the number's not there yet, but he's the most dangerous hitter in this lineup. You do put forces in play. But now 2 go-ahead runs are on the base pass, and now the slow walk from Mike Hampton to make a pitching change. J.P. Kuzik will be the batter, the cleanup hitter, the catcher for Fairfield. We'll see who he faces in what's now a 4-4 game top 7 as we step aside from the Jack. Kyle Chase is the new pitcher for St. John's. He inherits first and second with nobody out here in the top of the seventh. Already a run in for Fairfield to tie the game. Chase, a fourth-year junior from Levittown, making his third appearance of the season. Did not record an out last week at Penn State. Charged with 3 runs on 3 hits. His previous outing was on Valentine's Day in Florida against Minnesota. 2 innings, 1 run, 1 hit and 2 walks. The 2 on base belong to Connor Burns. Kuzik again, the catcher, the cleanup hitter, pulling back on the bunt attempt. Nomura doubled to center field to drive in the tying run. He's at second. Bushiero was intentionally walked on the docket of Burns. Again missing high. And Kuzik, who wants to give them an out, is ahead 3-0. Kuzik is 0 for 3 today. An RBI ground out back in the first. The ground ball double play and a fly ball to left. There's a strike. So now 3-1. Rafe Stanger appears to be staying at third base in this bunt defense for St. John's. And that's ball 4. Kuzik wanted a bunt, wanted the sacrifice, wanted to get 2 in scoring position for an out. But Chase can't find the strike zone, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Connor Scanlon's now the batter for Fairfield. Made an error in the last half inning. He takes strike 1. Fairfield had the bases loaded and nobody out way back in the first. Got 2 runs, which felt like a win for St. John's back then. Swing and a miss from Scanlon. Chase quickly gets ahead 0-2. St. John's in at the corners. That just missed. Further away that time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good speed at third and at second in Nomura and Bushiero. Almost anything to the outfield is going to get 2 in here for Fairfield. The catcher, Kuzik, is the trail runner. Ball 3. No place to put him. Chase came in, walked Kuzik, who was trying to put down a sacrifice bunt. He was just 0-2. But now 3 in a row out of the strike zone to Scanlon. The payoff pitch is outside, ball 4, and that forces in the go-ahead run. Second RBI today, 4th of the year for Scanlon, and still nobody out. Strike 1 this time from Chase to Jake Hardy, who singled and scored his last time up. Came in on a Don Camara sacrifice fly. That was in the 6th when Fairfield cut this to a 4-3 game. Now they lead 5-4. And that's ball 1 outside. St. John staying back up the middle. They love a ground ball to try to get 2. Swing and a miss. A strikeout wouldn't be bad either. A ball and 2 strikes here to Hardy. There's still nobody out in the inning. Schmalzley led off with a double down the left field line. Nomura doubled to center to get him in. The intentional walk to Bushiero. The change from Burns to Chase. And that is strike 3. Agresti hangs on to the foul tip. Third time today that Hardy strikes out, and that's a big one. First out of the frame. Bases still loaded for the DH, Peyton Walrick. He's 1 for 3, struck out his last time up. Now a double play gets him out of the inning. That's high ball 1. Bottom of this Fairfield lineup, not a lot of production, not a lot of chances. Warwick came into the day at just 3 for 8 on the season. That got the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Dom Camara, who would be next, only 1 at-bat before today. Hardy, who just struck out, came in hitting 125. It's part of the reason why they intentionally walked Bushiero, to get past him, because this lineup does dip down after that. Now, putting out a man on base, he's at third. A run has come in to put Fairfield back on top. But the path a little bit clearer for the St. John's pitchers if they execute once they clear Bushiero. That's a swing and a miss, 2-2. Chase came in and walked the first batter he faced, Kuzik, who wanted to lay down a bunt. Then he walked Scanlon to force in a run. A strikeout, and still 2-2 now on the DH Warwick, who spells his last name Wawruk. A senior from Connecticut. And that's in the air, and back out of play again on third base side. Peyton, a little bit of a legacy. His dad, James, one of the best players in Vermont baseball history, and his head coach was Bill Currier, who's now coaching his dad. And that is off of Agresti's mask. Staggered him for a second, but he's fine. Gives a dugout a thumbs up. And Stephen McMullen, like all good umpires do, walks the ball out to the mound to give Agresti an extra second here to shake that off. Still 2-2. Warwick battling. His team has taken the lead here top of the 7th. Still only 1 out. Bases still loaded. And that stung the center field. Backing up is Rodriguez. Bushiero tags. He's going to score. The throw goes towards third. No advance from Kuzik. And Fairfield has a 2-run lead for the second time this afternoon. For Peyton Warwick, that's his first RBI of the season. And that pitch high from Kyle Chase. The scoreboard here, Jack Kaiser Stadium, put that last run on the wrong side. It says 5-5 right now. It's 6-4 Fairfield. I can hear some of the Fairfield parents off to our right trying to get that rectified. One last inning. And now 3 in so far here in the 7th. And that one almost, it did get on camera, and that'll reload the bases. That's the 3rd hit batter for St. John's pitchers, plus that one that maybe hit Schmalzer that went in their favor when maybe was missed by the home plate umpire. But once again, the bases are loaded. Now with 2 outs here in the 7th. Nolan Colby, the number 9 hitter, another at-bat with men on base in a big spot. Struck out looking his last time up. Walked his first 2 times, now 1 for 33 on the season. A ball and a strike on Colby, whose team led 2-0. Gave up 4 in the 3rd, got 1 back in the 6th, and now a 3 spot so far here in the 7th. They have the lead, but they're missing that one big hit to really open things up. They didn't get it in the 1st or the 2nd when they had the bases loaded in less than 2 outs. And now it's 1-2 on Colby. Kuzik's at 3rd. The pitch is a swing and a miss to end the inning. Fairfield leaves them loaded, but they do get 3 to jump back on top. 6-4 as we stretch at the Jack. Bottom of the 7th now at Jack Kaiser Stadium. St. John's had a 4-2 lead for a while this afternoon. Now playing from behind, that's 6-4. 3 last half inning after 1 run in the 6th from Fairfield, putting them back on top. Their 2nd lead of the afternoon. Alex Frank stays on the mound for the Stags. 2, 3, and 4. Cowan, Rafe Stanger, and Agresti for the Johnnies here in the home half of the 7th. Just some bookkeeping for you. The line officially on Connor Burns, 2+ innings, 4 runs, 3 earned on 3 hits, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. So Kyle Chase, who got all 3 outs in the top of the 7th, allows all 3 runners to score. Is there room by the first base dugout? There is. Bushiero. Hip on the railing, arm over the dugout fence. And that's how the bottom of the 7th begins.
Now batting for the Red Storm, number 4 seed Jader Rafe Stanger.
Jader Rafestanger is 1 for 3 today. A walk, a double and a run scored, and a line out to left. That double, just his second extra base hit of the season. A breaking pitch misses away to begin this at-bat. Alex Frank is the 5th Stag pitcher this afternoon. 2 shutout to begin the day from Harrison Engel. Matt Kalfish struggled all 4 St. John's runs, charged to him on 5 hits. He got just 2 outs in the 3rd. Will Youngman and Jimmy Mulvaney each got 4 outs. And now it's Frank. That foul ball to Rafestanger. Frank has gotten 3 outs so far. Two balls and 2 strikes to Rafestanger, the third baseman. That's a bouncing ball right back to the mound. Easy for Frank. And now there are 2 away. St. John's last inning had second and third and 2 outs after Scanlon at third base made that error. Well, Luis Rodriguez grounded out to short to end the threat, missing out on a chance to extend the lead, and now playing catch-up for the second time this afternoon. Adam Agresti gave them the lead back in the 3rd with a 2-run homer to left. This is sky to center, not that deep. And it's Schmosley almost overrunning it, who makes the catch in center for Fairfield to end the inning. A 1-2-3 frame for Frank and company. So the lead stays 6-4, now 7 complete at St. John's. A back-and-forth affair favors Fairfield as the 8th inning begins here at St. John's. I'm Andrew Bogish. Happy to be with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for hanging out. And what's been a fun one, but not for St. John's fans at the moment. Their team down 6-4, coming off a weekend sweep on this field of UAlbany. Hoping to go in the right direction. Marist is here tomorrow before a weekend at Charlotte. They went from 2-0 down quickly today to a 4-2 lead, but did not add on. And now Fairfield has leapfrogged back in front. Kyle Chase stays on the mound and misses high for ball 1. Chase came in with 2 on, nobody out, a run already into the 7th. Both inherited runners scored without a hit. Chase walked in a run, gave up a sacrifice fly. He walked 2 and hit a batter total in the inning. Got all 3 outs. That breaking pitch stays high. 2 balls and a strike. Top of the order again for Fairfield and TJ Smallsley. He began their 3-run 7th with a double down the left field line. Then scored on Nomura's double that Luis Rodriguez just couldn't track, going back in dead center. The 2-2, missing badly. Agresti hustling after it as if there was a man on base, but there's not. Yet, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kyle Chase making just his 3rd appearance of the season. The last one was last week at Penn State. Both of these teams expected heavy use of their bullpen today, and maybe some guys who were not regularly seeing action, like Chase. St. John's got a good start today from Tommy Conley. Escaped major damage in the 1st and 2nd. Got through 4 by more than double his longest outing of the season. That's strike 3 to open the top half of the 8th. Conley got through 4, only allowed the 2 runs he gave up in the 1st. 3 hits, 4 walks, 3 Ks. Connor Burns got through 2 innings of relief unscathed, but not a 3rd. 4 runs, 3 earned on his docket. And that's a called strike on Nomura. The RBI double to center. He also scored a run last inning. He scored twice today in an 0-2 hole now. Five, 6, and 7 for St. John's in the bottom of the 8th, down by at least 2. Kyle Chase was walking off the mound. That was strike 3 to Nomura. Bouncing ball, charging his Rafe Stinger's got to be quick, and he is to get Nomura. Jader made 2 nice plays on Sunday to help close out UAlbany, including the last play of the game when he short-hopped the ball on a charge and threw a BB to first to end the game. That one, difficult, but not as difficult as Sunday's. 2 outs, base is empty. Bushiero went around. Intentionally walked and scored his last time up. 2 regular walks and a single before that. So Bushiero's been on base all 4 times this afternoon, scoring once. Takes ball 1 here. Bill Courier did not hesitate pregame when I asked him who they need to get going the most in a scuffling offense through their first 11 games. He said Bushiero right away. He's their stud, the MAC preseason player of the year. Numbers are fine, just not as dynamic as they normally are for Bushiero, who last year had 15 homers, 67 RBIs, and hit .345. Only .267 coming into today. This is skied to right in the corner near the line, and it's a foul ball off the sidewall. Lost sight of Fitzsimmons for a second, did his best, but ran out of room. Bushiero for his career, .321 hitter with 37 homers and 175 RBI. 2-time first-team All-MAC. He's been the most outstanding player of the MAC tournament. He was on the All-Rookie team. And now he puts the finishing touches as a senior on one of the best careers in Fairfield baseball history. His twin brother Dan started Fordham, is in the A's system. And Fairfield expects Matt to be with some major league organization once his senior campaign is done. That's outside, the count's full. Kuzik, the catcher in the cleanup spot, would be next. And that's ball 4. Bushiero on base for a 5th time. He's a 2-out base runner in front of Kuzik. Last time up, at the beginning of the 3-run 7th, St. John's had just intentionally walked Bushiero to make it 1st and 2nd with nobody out. They went to their bullpen. They brought in Kyle Chase. Kuzik wanted to bunt, wanted the sacrifice, wanted 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, but Chase couldn't throw him a strike and is still struggling. He has thrown 6 pitches to J.P. Kuzik and only 1 has found the strike zone. Bushiero can steal a base, and there he goes. The pitch in the dirt is through Agresti. Bushiero slid into second, gets up and takes a few steps, but that's it. It's his 5th stolen base of the season. Had he known that ball got through Agresti, he might have been able to get to third base. It would have been a gamble, especially with 2 outs. Give him the stolen base, which I believe is the first by either side today. And now it's 3-0 to Kuzik. Chase got Schmalzley looking, and then Nomura to chop 1 to third, but he couldn't survive Bushiero, lost him in the walk, and that's finally strike 1 to Kuzik. 3 balls and a strike with 2 outs. And Fairfield leading 6-4 here in the top of the 8th. The Stags have only won 5 times here at St. John's, but number 5 was the last time they were here 2 Mays ago. And now back-to-back 2-out walks from Kyle Chase.
Now batting for the Stags is number 13, Connor Scanlon.
St. John's pitchers have now issued 10 walks today. They've also hit 3 batters. So 13 free base runners. And now a fastball high to Scanlon. On top of the 10 walks and the 3 hit batters, there was also Connor Burns making 2 errors on pickoff throws to first base. Scanlon fouls that one back. It's a ball and a strike. The third baseman's 0 for 3. Last time up, though, took a bases-loaded walk. That brought in the second of the 3 runs last time up. Now he's trying to add to the lead, brushed back by a fastball. Tommy Conley threw 72 pitches through 4 innings. Burns threw 60 through his 2+. Chase is on 52 to get just 5 outs, and he misses again. This inning was 2 outs and nobody on. Bushiero walked, stole second, Kuzik walked, and now Scanlon sitting pretty at 3-1. Did he go around? He did not on the high fastball. Third straight 2-out walk, and Fairfield, for the 4th time today, has the bases loaded. Second time Scanlon has walked. The fifth walk given by Chase, 11 by St. John's pitchers. Jake Hardy is 1 for 4 today. A single and 3 strikeouts. He scored a run. This is George Brown, the pitching coach, walking to the bump. Mike Hampton makes the changes, so Chase is not coming out. This might be more strategy than anything else. Hardy's at the plate. Again, has a hit today, but came into today hitting just 125. You can see in the St. John's bullpen there are some guys stretching, but no one's actually throwing right now. So this is on Chase. He could not keep Fairfield from taking the lead with 3 in the 7th. And now, after getting the first 2 batters this inning, he's walked 3 in a row. Fairfield's been chipping away all afternoon. That's coming right back towards us, strike 1. The one thing they're lacking is the one big game-breaking hit. Scanlon would love to get it here. The sophomore from Holmes, PA, chops one to third. Ian is Rafestanger throwing on the run, and he got his man to win the inning. So Kyle Chase walks the bases loaded with 2 outs, induces the grounder, survives, and sends us to the bottom of the 8th. Still 6-4 Fairfield here at St. John's. Six outs to play with here at the Jack. St. John's chasing 2. Fairfield back into its bullpen. Jack Sheldon takes over from Alex Frank. Dylan Fitzsimmons is the batter, and he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. The freshman right fielder, a single and 2 ground outs to short. He has scored a run. hitting back in the middle of the order today. Fights that one off towards second. Put on a bounce, and Fitzsimmons is out. Colby didn't charge it. It was a gamble. Fitzsimmons looked like maybe he beat that, but the call is out at first base.
Now batting for St. John's, number 27, Sean McMillan.
That'll bring up Sean McMillan. A couple of hits, an RBI in 3 trips. Connor Scanlon, who started this game at third base, is now at first base. Sheldon home. Hit towards third. Nicely done. Up and throwing, but no scoop. McMillan stays at first. Luke Spencer, the new third baseman, fielded it, but couldn't make the good enough throw. McMillan's aboard with 1 out here in the 8th. Fairfield makes a defensive change. And of course, the ball finds the new guy out there. And he makes half a good play, reaching to his left to field the ball from McMillan. But then the low throw. Pinch running now at first base from McMillan as Bernardini stands in. Showing bunt, pulls it back, snap throw down to first. That's Mike Hampton yelling at Stephen McMullen, the home plate umpire. He thought that pitch was outside, but called strike 1. Nick Gilpin's the runner at first base. One and one to Bernardini. And a breaking pitch, a strike on the outer half from Sheldon. The 1-2, swing and a miss, pulled the string, and Bernardini couldn't get it. Big second out for Fairfield. So now it's Chaz Wright. Singled his last time up, his first hit of the season. He's 1 for 3 today. And now 1 for 11 on the season. John LeGrande is not in the St. John's lineup for the second straight game. Last time we saw him was on Saturday. So he's technically on that Red Storm bench in these last 2 at-bats, down by 2. That pitch is outside. It's a ball and a strike, now to right. Rob Mansour, who has been on base all 3 times so far this afternoon, twice with hits, would be next. Gilpin's in the game for McMillan for a reason. But he hasn't made a move towards second base. Now at 2 outs, a hitter's count for Wright. They'll check. Oof. And Gilpin might have been leaning towards second there for a moment. He gets back in safely. Mentioned Scanlon now at first and Spencer at third. Buschiero's still in the game, of course. He's the right fielder, it appears, at the moment. replacing Hardy. He's the one that leaves. That's back to the screen from right. And now Jack Sheldon is one strike away from getting through the eighth. His team leads 6-4, 1 in the sixth, and then 3 to take that lead top 7. They left the bases loaded last time up. They've left 12 on base. They're 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position, but they lead 6-4 through 8 as Sheldon blows one by right. The ninth inning from Queens is after this. It's the top of the ninth here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. St. John's down 6-4, and it's Carter Wall's job in out of the bullpen to keep this just a 2-run deficit. He is the 4th pitcher the Johnnies have used this afternoon. He follows Kyle Chase. And the side-arming lefty begins his day with a strike. Peyton Warrock, who capped off the 3-run 7th for Fairfield with a sacrifice fly to center field, stands in and chops one foul into his dugout safely. And a swing and a miss. Carter Wall strikes out the first batter he faces. This is 7, 8, and 9 in the Fairfield order.
Now batting for the Stag with a 13-time standing.
This is Luke Spencer, his first at-bat. He just came in the game in the last half inning for defense. He took over at third. Scanlon went from third to first. I thought Bouchiera replaced Hardy in right field, but it's Don Camrose out of the game. This is his spot in the lineup. And that one almost gets Spencer in the head. Luke Spencer looking for his first hit this season. He's 0 for 16. And now 0 for 17, and 14 of those outs by strikeout. 2 gone for Wall. And now Nolan Colby, the number 9 hitter, the second baseman, walks to the plate. For Carter Wall, this is just his second appearance of the season. On Valentine's Day in Florida against Minnesota, did not record an out. Charged with 3 runs. A junior from Ontario, Utah transfer. Only made 8 appearances, 5 1/3 for the Utes a year ago. Colby bunts through that pitch, a ball and a strike. Two balls and a strike now. And there's nothing easy right now for the lefty Colby. He's in the shade. Wall isn't. Automatically, that's unfun for the hitter. But now he's got Wall coming down and from around his back, basically, whipping that ball in. And he waves at that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 9, 1, and 2 for St. John's coming up in the bottom of the 9th. They want to get there only down by 2. It's 6-4 Fairfield right now. And Colby puts it way up in the air behind second. It's Mansour crossing back to the shortstop side to make the catch and end the inning. So 1-2-3 frame for Wall. Well done by him. Now it's up to the offense. Last licks for the Johnnies. They're down by 2. Bottom of the ninth here at the Jack. St. John's still down by 2. Rob Mansour leads off and takes strike 1. Against the 7th Fairfield pitcher of the afternoon. It's Ryan Majorano, and a breaking ball tap foul at the plate by the number 9 hitter Mansour, who has 2 singles, reached on an error. He has scored a run. So on base all 3 times today, and St. John's needs a 4th, down by 2. And that's strike 3 with a breaking ball. Majorano, the junior from Bellingham, Massachusetts, starts off his 4th appearance of the season with a backwards K. He's 1-0, a 4.50 ERA in 6 innings of work. The last 4 Fairfield pitchers, Youngman, Mulvaney, Frank, and Sheldon, 5 1/3 scoreless. And now 5 2/3 scoreless, plus that strike from Majorano. Luis Rodriguez is 0 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. Top of the order for St. John's. They need a run. They need a runner. And that one just missed low, a ball and a strike. Fairfield looking for its 2nd consecutive win, just its 3rd of the season. They led 2-0 after their first at-bat, gave up 4 bottom 3. We stayed that way until the Stags got 1 in the 6th, then took the lead with 3 in the 7th, a tie-breaking run on a bases-loaded walk. Closing out games, though, has been a battle for Fairfield this year. They've got multiple last-inning losses. This is in the air to center, a lazy fly ball. Schmalzley, 2 outs.
Now batting for St. John's, number 2, Will Allen.
It comes down to Will Cowan in his 4th game of the season. He's 0 for 4 today. He's lined to short, popped to short, grounded to short, and fouled out to first. He takes ball 1. If he can reach, the meat of this order comes up after him. And now Cowan asks for time. Something got in his eye. Majorano ready again. That is out of play to the right. A ball and a strike on the St. John's first baseman. They trail 6-4 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. They haven't scored since the 3rd inning. Their best chance was in the 6th when they left 2 on. They did get a single last inning with 1 out, but the next 2 batters struck out. That just sits high. 2 balls and a strike on Cowan. Majorano deals. And that's just off the outer edge. The Fairfield dugout begging for that one. But Stephen McMullen doesn't flinch. Cowan puts one in the air to center field. Backing up is Schmalzley. He's got time, he's got space, and Fairfield's got the win. It's a 6-4 final. It's their 3rd win of the season, and it's their 2nd straight victory here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. They got one 2 years ago. The Johnnies won up in Connecticut a year ago, but the Stags returned the favor once again. They waste an early 2-0 lead, but then score 3 in the 7th to jump back in front, and they stay there. What a job by the Fairfield bullpen. The last 5 guys that pitch do not allow a run, and give Majorano the save here with the 1-2-3 ninth. St. John's is back on this field tomorrow against Marist. Mark or Nail have the call on ESPN+. For now, thanks as always to Libby Sears, for Jason, I'm Andrew. Thanks so much for watching St. John's Baseball. It's a Fairfield win, though, on this Tuesday afternoon.